Warriors of Light and Warriors of Darkness, welcome back to another video. This was not a video I was expecting to put out today, but every morning I check the lodestone just to see if there's any news coming up to Final Fantasy XIV, and so that's why I am so excited about what I found today. The special site for patch 5.2, Echoes of a Fallen Star, is now live. That's right, as of right now, there's not much else that we know other than what was revealed to us from the last letter from the producer, but we do have the site officially up as well as getting the artwork for it. Now, the artwork here is pretty small. It's really small compared to the previous ones, whereas the last artwork that we got, it looked more like a movie poster than anything. Here, it looks a little bit more of what we're used to. So we have the image of a crystal, and it looks to be a crystal of light, judging from the glowing blue. In fact, it resembles the water or even like the ice aspected crystals of lights that we have. Now that I think about it, we haven't seen or even thought about using any of our own crystals of light since Heavensward. Now, we did have to use one of our crystals up to first help the Warriors of Darkness, so it looks like we may be finally addressing that, because as far as I know, we used up that particular crystal of light to kind of give that power back to Hydaelyn and make her strong enough so that she could release Minfilia, who can then go back to the First, and basically that's the whole story of Shadowbringers. And so as far as I know, we're down one crystal of light. And that might be why we haven't heard from Hydaelyn in a very, very long time. I don't think we've heard from her since Heavensward, now that I think about it. I mean, since like the main scenario for Heavensward. I mean, unless you count Minfilia, who is the word of the mother at the time, so. But either way, it looks like we might finally be going into more possibilities about using these crystals of light. Also, in the faucets of the crystal, we see the images of what looks to be Dalamud overhead. And I'm not entirely sure why they would be showing that all of a sudden. I think that we might learn a little bit more information about maybe more into the calamities and what the Ascians might be planning now that, well, their original plan for kind of destroying the world of the First kind of backfired on them. But it makes me wonder if, like, the Echoes of a Fallen Star might actually be talking a little bit more about the destroyed worlds, like maybe going more into depth about the whole idea of these calamities and what happened to the other worlds and maybe of the people there. Also, in these other faucets, we do see three people. Now, the one on the far right is definitely the Warrior of Darkness, or rather, kind of our character, as well as we see Oddbert on the other side, or more likely to be the impersonator Oddbert, the look-alike Oddbert. But what really got my attention was the one in the middle. We have Elidibus there with his glyph showing, and I don't believe that we've ever seen what his glyph looks like. Not that I can clearly remember. But with La Habrea and Emic Selk now gone, he's the only, like, full Ascian left. Like, he's the only, like, complete Amaradian left in all the multiverse here. Yeah, I think I'll make another video about how many Ascians that I think that we have left. Either way, we do know that he is swearing revenge against the Warrior of Darkness here for everything that they're doing here. So it seems like he's also the one responsible for bringing back that fake Oddbert here. And for those of you who have been following the role quests, we do know that the bodies of the Warriors of Light, before they traveled to the Source, they had to give up their own lives in order to be able to do that. And it was stated there that their bodies were eventually found, like, somewhere along the plains of Calusia. That's where they died, and that's where their whole journey to the Source began. So we know what happened to their bodies. They eventually became Sin Eaters, but the thing that really gets me is that we don't know anything about what happened to Oddbert's body. So it could be that this is Oddbert's, I mean, at least his body, but what about the soul inside it? We don't know anything about what's really going on here. Now, I don't know if this means that we have another soul, like a completely different soul inside this body, or maybe even Elidibus is using that particular body like how he uses Xenos' body. Either way, I can't help but wonder what he intends to do. I mean, if he is the one responsible for using Oddbert's body, what is his plan? I mean, to have a former Warrior of Light finish off the Warrior of Darkness? I mean, there's got to be more to his plan than that, because he's already tried that before and it didn't work. Not only that, the Warrior of Darkness has grown so much stronger than before. Like, they were on par with, like, one of his fellows, like, as one of the higher up Asians. There's no way that just one Warrior of Light is going to be enough to stand up against them, especially since they have the Scions backing them up. Anyway, whatever the case, we can see that these three will be playing a huge role in the upcoming patch, and I'm excited to see how this will all go down, because the Point 2 patches are generally part of a two-part story where they kind of finish wrapping up the whole expansion before moving on to set things up for the next one. So this here is a big patch because it's going to be setting up for the epic battle that's going to be coming for us in 5.3. And I'm expecting big things from 5.3 to wrap up such a huge expansion of Shadowbringers. I am expecting a spectacular ending worthy of the name of Shadowbringers. Now, moving on to the rest of the sites, as you can see, we really don't have too much. It's kind of like a brief overview of what we already know is coming, so we don't have any pictures, previews, trailer, or even a release date yet. I do think we will be getting another letter from the producer either before the end of this month or the beginning of the next. As for when I think the next patch will be released, we do know that it will be mid-February, so either the 11th at the earliest or the 18th at the latest. That's my best guess. But until then, as we get closer to the release date, we'll be getting more previews and updates, so we can check the site as often as we like to get more information on the next patch. What we already know is that we will be getting more main scenario quests, which is going to be, like I said, setting up the stage for patch 5.3 and finish up the story of Shadowbringers. So I'm expecting some major cliffhangers here, which are going to kill us until we get like a somewhat resolution solved in patch 5.3. But we'll also be continuing on with the Eden raids, and we do know we have at least one other primal confirmed in the form of Ramuh, which means that we will likely also be having either Garuda, Ifrit, or Shiva go along with it. That's my best guess. We also have the new dungeon of the Enemesis and Niter. And from its name, we can pretty much guess that it's going to be set somewhere in Amarat. Now, the definition of Amnesis is the remembering of things from a supposed previous existence. With that, plus the title of the patch being called Echoes of a Fallen Star, I think that there's a good chance that not only will we learn a little bit more about Amarat and maybe the events that led up to the whole Sundering, but maybe even more about the Warrior of Light's past as an ancient here. Oh god, I hope so. Please tell me that that's true. But moving on, we will be having the addition of the Chronicles of a New Era series, and if you remember from Stormblood, this was in the form of the Four Lords. This time, it will be part of the Sorrow of Werlet, which seems to be connected somehow to the new trial where it's going to be called the Cinder Drift. Personally, I think that we will be joining forces with Gaius again to solve a problem with some super boss weapons. We do have another beast tribe as well, known as the Kitari, which is Norvrun's version of the Kukurin, the rat-like race from Eorzea. Don't know what they're all about just yet, only that these quests will be functioning mostly around the gathering classes, because why not? Since we already had the Ishgardian Restoration to level up our crafting jobs stupidly easily, we might as well have one for gathering as well. Speaking of which, we will also be having the Ishgardian Restoration updates, which will be us continuing to rebuild Ishgard, as well as the Resistant Weapon quest, where we're finally going to be able to start working on our powered up weapons. Also, speaking of gathering and crafting, there's going to be a more overhauling involving both, as well as the new ocean fishing where we can head out into the open sea to fish for some rare fish. There'll also be the New Game Plus updates and so much more. Yes, so that's really all we know for sure right now. We are sure to learn more in the upcoming weeks, so I hope that everyone will be able to keep an eye out for everything to come. I will also be making occasional updates when the sites update, so please keep a lookout for whenever you can. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope everyone's looking forward to patch 5.2, for it's only weeks away. There's still time to finish up preparing for whatever is coming. So if there's something that you want to do right now, now is a good time to go on ahead and do it and get it out of the way. So take care everyone, and I'll be seeing you around sometime, I hope. And here's looking forward to a brand new year with some amazing new content. Bye-bye!